Welcome to Studio Time, a new series that takes you behind the scenes, that lets you see the good, the bad, the ugly, the experiments, the exploration, and a chance to get ideas of how and why I create and what's in progress, and hopefully gives you inspiration along the way. Well, hello loves, and happy Sunday to you. So today, as I have explained in the intro, today is studio time. And it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I just haven't had the gumption to get to do it, and it's vulnerable. It's a very vulnerable space, and I just want to show up and turn on the camera and let you see what the day-to-day looks like for my creative time, for how I get ideas. That's one of the biggest questions that I get is, how do I constantly have ideas to create? And what I'm going to show you today and moving forward in our either once a month or every other month studio time will give you the idea of how I and any other artist gets ideas, and how that happens is experimenting and playing. And one of the things that I'm learning the most about my own creative work, and it evolves, and it is still evolving, and I am really coming to terms with this practice, this daily practice of just showing up and creating messy stuff without it being anything. And most of the time, those daily practices are the things that I am loving the most. And so I want to give you a sense of what kind of my daily studio time entails. Only because, one, I think it's interesting because I like looking at other people's videos and seeing, what they're working on and how they do it and the mess and all that stuff, so I don't feel so alone. But the other thing that is so important to me is that I think, especially when you begin, that you think that you should be able to learn all these things, and I teach all the things, so that you can, get to where you want to go as far as creating. But the other part of the artist journey is just the unknown, the experiment, the mess ups, and the things that you discover in the process of just play. And we undervalue play so much, and it is the way that I get ideas. And usually when I have an idea and I'm thinking, I'm going to try this, I'm going to experiment, it doesn't go the way that it has planned. And a lot of times, maybe in the beginning of my career, I would have been discouraged. But I think I talked 2 weeks ago about the idea of exploration. And that is the key to finding your ideas, to finding your why, to finding all of the things that you love and want to create. But we don't just automatically get there. It's this layer process. It's just like creating art. You layer and layer and layer, and then you see, oh, that's the thing. Or you take away and you remove, and it's all these different things that happen. And so that's my priority for the videos, for the studio time videos, is to share maybe some things that I have acquired that I'm loving, or supplies that I just got that I'm experimenting with, or testing things. And right now, I showed you a little bit of my studio space. Right now, I'm in the middle of two things. I'm in the middle of creating a series, or a couple of series of works that I want to sell and release. The other thing that I'm in the middle of is prepping for March. Yeah, March. I'm always lost for what day, time month it is. March's content for the membership, and it will also be a workshop that's coming up. So I'm smack in the middle of the process of developing the ideas that go into it. And I thought it's just so incredibly valuable for you to see how it works. And, all the ideas that I write down, I use a third of the ideas because I test them out and I go, no, that didn't work out the way that I thought. Or I just didn't like it and it just wasn't in my wheelhouse, so it's not something that I would want to or enjoy teaching. So I try everything, and when it works and it feels right, I want to share that, and I end up sharing that in the membership or in a workshop or here. So I want to share a couple of the experiments that I did in this process, but I also want to just give you an idea of just the creative chaos that happens. And I'm not really good in creative mess. I mean, my studio is not perfect in any way, but in order for me to get the ideas, I have to be kind of in process or in the middle of working on things to see where they may go. And so I just want to give you an idea of all of the things that I have on the go right now that I don't know if they'll end up being anything, but there's always something that I have learned. Like, is it something, I'm going to use it in my membership, but is it something that would work into my own personal practice? I don't know, but I have to try. And that's why I always tell the members, and I want to tell you too, try everything. Because a lot of times we will, especially in the membership, someone might say, florals aren't my thing. I totally get that. However, trying everything, even if florals aren't a thing, or landscapes or abstracts, whatever it might be, some technique or something in there or color combination might be the thing for what you want to do. So nothing is off limits in the studio. I want to try everything. And there are things that I've tried and I'm like, I don't care to do that again. But I may revisit them because we evolve and we change. And that is our journey as a human being and as an artist. So I just want to show you a couple of things that I have been working on. And I'll share some of these things in, like the tech, how I did it kind of thing in just a minute. But I want to just show you a couple things. So I have just stacks and stacks and stacks of experiments. And you saw them on the floor. You saw them on the tables. They're everywhere. And I'm getting ready to kind of decide which ones are worthy of filming and then, teaching, or which ones are not. But I have done some really fun cardboard pieces that I loved, and I don't have any color on them yet, but I think that I would like to. But dipping them in water and crumpling them and tearing them. Look at how, I could totally see. Like this side especially. I love this side. I love this. So those are some of the things. And then I also I brought out my art graph and my, what are these again? Inktense blocks. And started doing some just on raw paper. I never work on raw paper. I always work on gessoed paper. And I have had a huge aha moment on raw paper in the last couple of weeks. My daily practices, I've switched to raw paper, which I typically don't do. But I was running out of time and I didn't have time to gesso. So I did it anyway on raw paper, which is another example of showing up and doing the thing, even if it's not perfect. In my opinion, it wasn't going to be, what I wanted. And I love it. And I'm now rethinking a whole lot of things. So that's what I'm saying. Try everything. Don't discount anything and show up and do something. So this is art graph. fun on raw paper and with water. And I can see this going, like this hasn't developed far enough yet, but I can see this going somewhere using for collage paper. Because what I'm prepping for is, I'm prepping for Collage Explosion. So that's the membership content for March, and that will also be a workshop. So it's all about collage and creating collage papers. My favorite. So I've done that. This is Neocolor, which again, not something I use every day, but once I did this, I was like, hang on a second. This is all on raw paper, copy paper. That is fantastic. Again, art graph, sticks, and blocks. This is Neocolor and watercolor on raw paper. And because it's raw paper, it's so soaked into the paper, it's not going to reconstitute. I mean, there might be a couple areas, but it's not going to reconstitute when I put it down with matte medium. So all of a sudden, I'm like, my mind is exploding with ideas. This is watercolor with alcohol. I've got these like alcohol droplets in there. And I used a dough scraper to kind of, and it crinkled the paper up. And I was like, wait a minute, game changer. But this is watercolor. This doesn't look like watercolor. This may look more like watercolor, but I am very happy camper. What was this one? This is watercolor too. I was doing alcohol, but I found that when I do the alcohol, I need a darker color for the little droplets to show up. So that's just one stack of experimenting. And I was able to bring out all of my watercolors and just play. So happy. And then this, you can tell this is the one I really enjoyed. Oops, I'll stick that over here. Yeah, coffee. This is coffee. And we're going to do this. We're going to do this together. This again is art graph. I got them in the wrong pile. Art graph and water. This is all art graph and water. Art graph and water. This is just plain old watercolor. Look at that subtle, can you see that subtle pattern on there? Watercolor. Watercolor. Talk about happy dances. Okay, this is coffee dyeing on regular paper. This is oil pastel. So I have been trying, and I've shared with my members that I have been looking for how to use my oil pastels. And with acrylic and oil pastels, they don't work. But if I can do my papers like this with the oil pastel and then dye it, and I could do this again with watercolor instead of coffee, I foresee some really great things. But I still have to test it to see if it's going to come off or it's going to repel matte medium or anything like that. But great experiment. Found objects with coffee. More coffee. This is all coffee. It smells so good. You can tell I was enjoying this process. Look at that. That's just vintage all the way. So that is fantastic. So that's the other experiment that I've been doing. And then, let's see. Okay. This is watercolor and hibiscus. So This is hibiscus flowers. It's just like the dried hibiscus flowers. And watercolors. And I just wet them all and then made marks on all of them and then let them kind of soak in this bath. And these are the results that I got. I am in love. Like the little bits of that. And I left some of the coffee filter, bigger parts of the coffee in there. But all these little bits that the hibiscus leaves or petals, like that's just... I am just thrilled with how this turned out. So, and the thing is too, is that something like this, I didn't really know what I was doing. Now that I know that I like it, I can explore it further to see where I can take it even more. Or if I want to combine watercolor and coffee and the hibiscus and art graph all together. Like, I think this was Neocolor, because I started going, well, what if I did this? So, you start with one experiment and then it leads to another and another. And you got to try everything. If you have an inclination about something, you really need to try it. Okay. And then I also experimented with, this might have not been a good experiment. See, this is what I'm talking about here. You just never know. Darn. This was tissue paper and thread that I put two pieces together, but it's stuck to my underlayer. So I got to figure out another solution for that. That would have worked out really well. What I should have done is transferred it to another sheet, but it is what it is. So, right now, if I could have peeled it off, I think it would have worked really well. So that's the effort. It's trial and error. This was a fail. Not totally though, because I like how it looks. I needed to transfer it to a different piece of parchment paper that didn't already have some stuff on it, like a fresh piece for it to dry, or maybe dry a little bit before. I don't know. But I need to experiment with this a little bit more before I, keep going. Ooh, see, I wish I could. No, it's not going to come up. Okay, so lots of experimenting there. Let's see. I experimented with gel medium, and because I'm creating collage, and this is like a crackle sheet stamped into super heavy gesso for texture. So many good things. So many good things. And then and then I've done a ton of gel, like this is all gel prints. So I've been a happy camper. Color mixing, we're doing a bunch of color mixing options, talking about value and where I can take, this is my magenta, how I can take it way down or bring it way up to color. So that I love. But this was an example of just like collage and what works best, like if you've got heavy material or not. And I just was putting down paper after paper just to show, okay, for tissue paper, I would use fluid matte medium. I would use matte gel for something, heavier, that kind of thing. But in the end, this is what I got, and I really like it. So this gives me ideas too. Every single thing is an idea. Every step we take, every move, all the things that we do. I think that was a song, every step we take, every move we make. But everything we do is information. And so like I did this and I'm not getting rid of it because I can see something out of it. And the thing is, I wasn't thinking about what looked good. I was just playing. And that is the number one lesson, if I can ever give you anything, is just play, because the results are always information and something that we can learn from. And so I like this. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I'm going to explore it. Okay, so I think that's all I have to share with you here. So I want to take you out into my outer area, or a couple things that I'm working on out there and in my outer area, just so that I can kind of tie some of this together. Okay, so I'm just coming out of my area here, and this little table that I've recently gotten is by Meeden, and I'm absolutely loving it. Because it will roll around with me when I need it. And I think I shared a couple weeks ago, I can't remember if I shared it with you or with the members, but this is all experiment area. This is all things that I am going to be trying for the month of March content. Some will work, some I've already tried, and I want to, perfect it a little bit more. But I love this cart because I can take it anywhere in my studio. It's got a little water bucket here that I have been using, and drawers and different things like that. You can see I got stuff sticking out. But this experiment pod was up here, and I've been taking stuff from it to do over here. So, if you want to try something, get your things and set it in a certain spot, and then just pick off one thing at a time to experiment with. So if I come over here, this easel, this is also a Meeden easel, and it can do really large pieces and it can lay flat, which I like because I like working up and I like being able to lay it flat so I can, push and pull paint around and not have it drip so much. But these are pieces that I am in progress on. I just finished up a couple and I just moved these over so that I can look at them. I need to look at them every day and just kind of walk by them and see. This piece was done, and in intentional art, I use this piece as an example. I think it was this one. I used a couple, and we have some great tips in intentional art that will help you edit your video with intention. And so, edit your pieces. And so I am reworking this one. I thought it was done, and this is like the third pass around, and I'm not happy with it at all. So I'm re-editing. This is in the very basic stage. This is the first layers, and so I've got a lot of work left to do on this one. And it takes time, and it takes I'm going to try this, and maybe it works and maybe it doesn't. But it's that experiment phase that's always so important. So I want to go out to the outer area of my studio. So this is the outer area where I will, there's several pieces that are done. This one's finally done. This one's finally done. That one's done back there. That's done. And this one's done because we did the intentional editing in intentional art, and I was able to do that. This one is still in progress. This has some ideas on it. I'm not sure this one needs some editing. Done, editing, beginning, very beginning. Done, I think. I feel like I need to do a few tweaks on it, but I'm just not quite sure yet. This one I feel pretty safe is done. I like the grungy feel. It has more freedom. I know what I'm looking for. This one is, I think it has a few changes to make, but there's some things that I absolutely love about it. Now these over here, and I've shared this before. These are my daily practice. This is, I take a few colors and just splotch them down on the paper and go from there. And even if I have just 5 minutes, I do something. So I have stacks and stacks of these. And I was just cleaning up, kind of preparing for the video. And I have, tons and tons of these everywhere. And I was thinking, because I was enjoying the working on paper, maybe I rethink some of these just a little bit, and see the dogs and everybody's roaming around. So I know it's a little loud in here, but like that is got a lot of potential. And so I want to really focus on some of these things now. And then these are all starts, just the beginnings of things. And this, I want to share this one specifically because it was an example. It was a practice, I think, for either a workshop or the membership or something of, I don't remember what, but I love it. I love how I can see the texture and everything. And so again, this idea that we have to start to finish, I'm slowly, moving away from that, quick process, and really, especially for my own work that I am doing, that I want to put out. Of course, I have to have some start and finish when I'm teaching, but I really want to convey that the unplanned, experimental, what happens next kind of thought process is so valuable. This was a fail, but I think I can put some gesso over it and keep that texture. The reason it's a fail is because it's just all popping off. This one's in progress. These were experiments that I love the backgrounds, so they're starts. And this one, it took a long time. There's a lot of layers on there, but I'm really proud of it. Because I had a really good focus. I did some journaling that we talked about, mind mapping in Intentional Art 2. And I did that way back, and it helps me see where I want to go with my art. It helps me find the intention, the words, the colors, all those kinds of things. So that is what's on the go right now. And it's all a work in progress, always. And nothing is ever perfect. It's just good enough for me. And that's really, really important. Okay, so we've done our little tour. I've kind of explained a whole lot about what's going on in here and why and the purpose and all that kind of stuff. But now I just want to share with you the coffee technique, because it's just so fun. It's so easy. And the effects. I love it. So first of all, I found these parchment paper sheets. Nowadays everyone's got an air fryer or a toaster oven or something like that. These are perfect for like in your cookie pan, whatever. But I was like, why have I not been doing this all along? Because I can just pull a sheet out and it's perfect. So I'm like, I thought I'd share that with you. And I can use it as my palette. I can use it for my experiments. Okay, plain piece of copy paper. This is my coffee, right? So I have hibiscus water in here. These are old gelato containers. This is coffee. And this is just instant coffee. I got some warm water when I started. Whoop. I'm dripping already. And I didn't measure anything. I just kind of wanted to see how dark I could get it. And then if it needed to be lighter, I could add more water, that kind of thing. But this is raw copy paper. And I have a large, like, scruffy brush, like this. And I'm just going to load my paper up with coffee. And members, if you're watching this, you get the full deal coming in March. So that looks like a piece of coffee, or I don't know, something random. So I'm gonna put in a couple of sprinkles of coffee. And kind of, I can leave it like this and I'll show you. And get this kind of effect. Or I'll just bring my brush in and kind of tamp these down just a little bit. Because I don't want anything raised. I really want this to be really wet. And you have to go back and add just a little bit because it's raw paper, it just kind of soaks everything in. But having it on the parchment paper is really important because you can just lift the parchment paper up and put it on the floor like my studio if you don't have table space. Okay, I want to make sure that there aren't any things sticking up. Okay, now I just will grab any stencil. Any stencil works, which you've seen. And I just want to make sure that I stick it all down in there. Because if it's raised, it's not gonna give you the outline. And then I take my heat tool and you don't want to get it too close to your stencil. And I kind of hold it down just a little bit to kind of get that initial dry started in the areas that are exposed. And then I just let it sit. You know, I'll just take this and put it on the floor and let it dry. And I did one that was lighter and one that was darker. And I have to tell you that every single pattern that I did with my stencils, every single one that I did was phenomenal. Every pattern came out beautifully. I can't wait to use these in a project. Look, I love these. And then, so I'll take the darker one. Let's see, where's the dark one? I'll use this one. So this is the darkest one. I'm just going to put a little bit of water on here. It doesn't reconstitute. Oops, sorry. It doesn't reconstitute. And it may lighten up a little bit, but not enough. Like if I'm going to be putting matte medium over it to put it down in a project, it doesn't change it. I mean, it's changed because I've got water on there right now, but it doesn't change it. And I'm thrilled. And the same thing with the watercolor. All of them. All of the experiments that I did are now, like, they don't reconstitute. And it'll give me time to put matte medium down without it changing at all. So I am thrilled. Coffee's cheap. You can do tea too. But tea takes a little bit more time because you have to brew it and heat it to get it to do its thing. This is just so easy, the coffee, and it's cheap. And so I can't wait to explore more with my watercolor and art graph, all the different art graph ones that I did. So that is the state of my studio. That is what I am up to and what I am doing, and what I'm experimenting with, all collage and all those kinds of things. And I have so many more to do because of what I want to share for Collage Explosion. So I'm excited. I hope that you found the information that I shared today helpful. Different supplies, my easels, by Meeden and different things like that. This technique, and most of all, the fact that it's all an experiment. Everything that we do creatively is an experiment. And if something doesn't work out, don't discount it. Let it be a lesson. And I've shared that before, but let it be a lesson. And maybe the mess of my studio will have encouraged you that you're not the only one. Especially when I'm in the middle of trying to get things together for content. It's huge. Everything is everywhere. So I do want to let you know that today is the last day for intentional art workshop being on early bird pricing, if you are so interested. A lot of what I talk about and how editing and finding intention and finding meaning and purpose and different things like that, a lot of that is in intentional art, and that and Creative Reset. But Creative Reset isn't on early bird pricing, but intentional art is, and we go in depth and we do a lot of editing with our work, and the members have said that it was really good, and the benefit was fantastic. So just want to let you know that. Okay, thank you for coming into my studio and just playing with me and seeing what I'm doing and what I'm up to, and I'm so grateful that you are here. And that if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. But I appreciate you, and I'm grateful that I'm able to take some space in between videos now to be able to do a lot of just exploring that my wonderful little old artistic heart wants to do. So I am grateful. And when I'm doing that exploring, I want to share that with you in the studio time videos. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in 2 weeks. But most of all, I hope your Sunday is restful and peaceful, and I hope that you always, always know that you are loved.